Hi.
Hey, Erica, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Thanks so much for taking some time to chat with me.
Yeah, no worries. I'm excited.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a little bit about how it normally works. It's fairly short. I will do a short introduction and then you can feel free to chime in and complete that introduction if I leave something out. Um, what else? It'll be a pretty organic kind of interview. I'll ask you, about your business journey and then some specific food questions just for fun.
Sure.
And then we'll wrap up, and maybe you can think of a challenge for people toward the end. So if they want to kind of step outside their food comfort zone, for you, it might be try vegan cookie dough,
Yeah,
try more plant based stuff. So, however you feel moved to do that toward the end, we can do that.
awesome.
So, any questions for me before we get started?
I don't think so. How long have you been doing this?
I launched the cookbook creative last May. It was May 5th, Cinco de Mayo.
Okay.
And it has grown since then into and this was my passion. This is my passion piece of it is the content and kind of looking at the stories behind the food and the
Mhm.
people behind the food. And I've written practically my whole life and I've been in publishing my whole life. So this was just a natural extension of just to start doing the interviews and sharing those. So it's
Yeah,
been
that's
fun. I haven't done a ton of them. I've done maybe 10 or 12 so far,
okay.
but more and more this year. And I think we're going to start doing some on site ones soon, which will be fun. So
Yeah, that'll be
go visit.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
Very
right.
cool.
All righty. I'm going to hit record as a backup. I've got my Fathom running, but I don't always trust one thing. So I'm going to hit record on my computer.
Yeah.
And now we're sure to capture everything. Hang on 2 seconds. I'm going to adjust my screen. Welcome, everybody. I want to introduce you to Erica Rankin. And she is in Ontario, Canada. And she told me she has a freezer full of cookie dough in her living room. So that was the first introduction. Actually, Patrick introduced us, Patrick Sinclair from iHeartMedia. And he's been doing the Road to 100 and recommended that I talk to Erica too. So that's why we are here today. And what's fun is Erica has done not only the product side of food, but she's also into personal branding and knows how to put that marketing and the expertise in food together. So can't wait to hear all about that. So, Erica, anything else you want to say by way of introduction?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I guess I like to call myself the Chief Everything Officer of Brodo, which is my cookie dough company that's based out of Toronto. And yeah, I think you gave a great intro, so I'll leave it at that.
Great. All right. So, as I mentioned, you are a combination of the product marketing and the personal branding. So let's start with the product marketing. You've been on kind of an epic journey here on getting this done. So first of all, how did you get the idea for the product? How has it evolved over time? And I understand you have some plans for the US coming up, and I want to hear about those too. So
Yeah.
so how did that all come about?
Yeah, I guess keeping it short and sweet, in 2018, I competed in bodybuilding, and this is a product that I used to make for myself. I had to break up with a lot of my favorite treats, like I couldn't eat cake, I couldn't eat chips, couldn't eat all the things that I love so much because I have a huge sweet tooth, and cookie dough was one of those things. So I would add protein, remove sugar, make it plant-based, cleaner ingredients. And people really seemed to love it when I made it for myself. And I posted my recipes and people would recreate them. And then I guess fast forward a year later, I decided to pursue entrepreneurship. And that was the one thing that I saw fit the market. There was no better for you cookie dough in the Canadian market. And I thought, okay, well, I'm passionate about it. Like I love food, I love recreating things. And I know that people love it, so let's launch with it. And then yeah, it's kind of, evolved a little bit over the past few years. We've made tweaks to the packaging and the formulas, and it's just a constant, I guess, evolution. And there's new products coming, and I guess like the issue that I ran into was like I'm very good at marketing and I'm not very great at operations. So I had all the marketing in place and I had all this excitement from America, and I can't sell to America because it's kind of challenging shipping a frozen product to the US. So we're launching a shelf stable product in a few months with a US manufacturer that will be available to both Canadians and Americans. So that's super exciting.
That is super exciting. And where can people find it now? So if you're in Canada, where are people finding your products?
So on our website, we do sell online, brodo.ca, and then we're just in Ontario right now. So we're in about 100 stores. We're in Sobeys, Fortino's, Healthy Planet. And then like over the course of 2023, we're going to continue to scale and launch out west and I guess grow a lot quicker this year than we did last year.
And so, what's it like to go from a frozen product to a shelf stable product? What's been involved in that development?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So we're doing, and this is like the product that makes the most sense for the brand. So we have cookie dough, which is available in stores, and that'll continue to like, funnel into the retail stores in Canada. And then we have cookies that are going to be launching online. And basically, we kind of started out with very similar ingredients that is in the cookie dough, and then kind of worked it into a way where it's bakeable and it makes really good cookies, and it's still like in line with like has the added protein, it's gluten free, has clean ingredients. And it's just been a lot of taste testing, and we're still kind of going through that process. Like, I actually went out there to the manufacturers and we went in the food lab, and I got to be a part of the whole process, which was really cool. So I'm going to start posting about that as well as we get closer to like actually finalizing the formulas.
Can't wait to see it. And how do people use the cookie dough? So, are there, you mentioned recipes. So, are there a number of different variations in the way that you're using it? So, I'm creating a number of different cookies from a single dough, or how does that work?
Yeah, so the dough, the way that it's like formatted right now, they come in like I wish I had a little tub to show you, but they're in tubs and they're 6 servings in a tub. And I've seen people eat it straight from the tub. There's no eggs, there's nothing in there. We use a special flour that doesn't have any bacteria in it because the biggest issue with cookie dough, it's not really the raw eggs that can make you sick. That can, but the odds are very low. It's the raw flour that can contain bacteria like E. coli. So it needs to have a kill step. So it needs to be baked, and that bacteria needs to be killed off. So with the dough itself, like people usually just eat it straight from the jar. They roll it into balls and they put them in the freezer. They microwave it. They put it on things like pancakes, oatmeal. I've seen some people put in a waffle press. They can be baked, but they don't make chewy cookies. They make more so like crunchier cookies. So I tell people if they want to like bake it, like they should just pop it in the microwave and then you get like a gooey kind of dough. And it's so good when you like mix it with ice cream. If you have like a super big sweet tooth, that's like the best combo in my opinion. And that's how I eat it.
I got to tell you, I was telling one of my clients that we were going to have this conversation. And the very first thing she asked was, "Can I just eat the cookie dough
Oh
out of
yeah.
the jar?" I was like, "Yes."
No questions asked. Yeah, that's how most people eat it. Right.
Oh, great. All right. So now let's layer on that piece of personal branding, because you've really maximized your marketing effectiveness by leaning into the personal branding instead of relying on ad dollars or something like that. So, first of all, for everybody, so we have the same concept of personal branding. How do you define personal branding?
I guess, yeah, it's just you. You're a brand yourself, right? Like, I think for me, you have your product or your business or whatever that is, and then you have your personal brand. Like, who are you? What are your values? Like, who's the face behind the business, right? Like, it's adding emotion to things, right? Like, I think people get disconnected if they just see products and businesses and there's no really human connection to it. It's less personable. I think by layering in a personal brand and putting a face to things, it resonates and you can connect further with your audience or your customers or whoever you're trying to reach.
Yeah, I like that. And one of the things I think I've learned about personal branding is that you have a personal brand whether you want one or not.
It's
You
true.
know, it's we all have a digital reputation and an online marketplace of our own. So either we can cultivate that and use that to showcase our passions and our businesses, or we're missing opportunities if we don't really tie into that. So, talk a little bit more about how you have managed to kind of bridge that and make that marketing piece work for you.
hmm It's interesting because I never intended to. Like I went on LinkedIn initially. So I think the two platforms that I'm on the most and I've grown on the most is TikTok and LinkedIn. And with LinkedIn, I originally went on there just to get mentorship because I didn't know how to grow my business. And like I love my friends and I love my family, but none of them are entrepreneurs and I couldn't really get advice from them. So I had to find people who, have done what I'm doing. And the only place to go was LinkedIn. So and then when I was reaching out to people and finding mentors, I saw a lot of, I guess, like toxic positivity on the news feed. Like I saw like fundraising and all these amazing things were happening to all these businesses. And I thought, oh, okay, like this is really cool, but like why don't I kind of humanize entrepreneurship and really showcase like what it's about? Because it's really discouraging to like entrepreneurial, like curious individuals or new founders when they're seeing all this great stuff happening. They're like, oh, well, how come that's not going the same way for me? Like things are, like my world's crashing down on me and I'm having problems and no one really talked about it. So I thought, okay, like why don't I just put everything out there and kind of like quote unquote build in public,
Yeah.
and then in turn like make people not only like follow the journey, but like really get to like know me and want to support me and want to purchase. And, like in turn, like if they gravitate towards you, then they're going to naturally gravitate towards the product.
Yeah, I love that. And it's such a good analogy because I think social media makes us compare ourselves in a way that's just unrealistic. It's back to the old analogy of a new painter comparing themselves to one of the greats, the Da
Yeah.
Vinci, and going, why am I not able to do that? Well, you haven't done it for years and years and hours yet. So I like that you're doing that, publicly and in person and showing what that growth really looks like. I think that's valuable for so many people.
Yeah, I hope so. Like I felt really discouraged when I went on there and I thought I was doing everything wrong. And then you start to talk to other founders and you have a lot of overlap, but people just aren't
Yeah.
comfortable sharing it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you the cookbook creative is a work in progress.
Yeah.
And we experiment and we iterate and we try to keep things moving quickly so that we learn quickly and can continue to develop. So we're excited too about stuff that's coming up this year, and it's happening fast. So
Yeah,
just
that's
stay focused on
awesome.
the next experiment, just like you with your shelf stable stuff. That's
Yeah, it's
great.
all trial and error, figuring out what works and what doesn't, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what in your area of Canada, what is the food? What kind of food is the area known for? You're in Toronto, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good question. I don't know. We have like a bunch of different restaurants here. Like I've gone for really good Italian. Like I've gone for like like I like to try different places and different things. So I don't really know if Toronto's like known for anything. I'm still like kind of new here as well. Like I grew up near Niagara Falls, so I grew up like about an hour-ish out of Toronto and I moved here like last year. Um, but yeah, I don't know how to answer that question.
Yeah, that's all right. So what's your favorite meal? You brought your own taste to Toronto. So what's your
Yeah.
favorite meal?
Yeah, I really love like I love Italian food. I love Greek food. I'm like not super picky. And like I've been trying to treat myself to like really nice dinners now, like once every few months. And I went to like a 9 course like plant-based t meal, like what do they call it? Like a wine pairing, like testing,
Yeah,
where the
yeah,
portions are really tiny. Um, that was really cool. And like I got to eat a lot of things that like I didn't even know existed. Like they made like a tuna tartare out of watermelon and like did the flavor profiles. And I just had like a lot more I don't know, admiration and respect for food and like the flavors involved. And I guess I'm trying to like broaden my preferences and my taste profile more because I'm a creature of habit and I eat a lot of the same things. Like I eat the same breakfast every day. I order meal prep, so I don't cook really, which I was like so terrible to say because I don't love it. But yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned the watermelon. I just had a conversation with Jeffrey Schlissel. I almost rhymes with whistle, Schlissel. And he said he actually got into a debate with a customer one time over whether the watermelon that he cooked as tuna was actually tuna or not.
Wow.
And he said they ended up giving the customer something else to eat because they just felt like it was too much like the tuna. So which was crazy. I can't
Yeah.
imagine something tasting that good. So I would have loved to have tasted that watermelon tuna. I'm gonna have to put
Yeah.
that on my list.
Yeah, it's true. It's like crazy. Like I went with my friend and we were mind blown. We're like, whoa,
Yeah.
really? There's no way. It was really cool.
So tell me how people can find you.
Yeah, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Erica Rankin. If you want to get from Brodo, it's brodo.ca. And then I also have my personal branding, growwitherica.com. And you can find me there.
Awesome. So you can also help people kind of pair the personal branding and marketing with their food products or their food businesses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
that's awesome. Any challenges or any thoughts to kind of help people get out of their comfort zone and have a broader perspective on food?
I guess try something new, maybe. Um, I don't know. For me, I've been trying to like experiment with my breakfasts. So like again like I'm a creature of habit and I eat the same thing every morning, but I've been trying to like change it up and have something different. So yeah, maybe like trying something that you haven't ever tried. Um, yeah, but I would say that.
What have you been eating every morning and how are you trying to change it up?
Yeah, so I eat avocado toast. I love avocados. I live off avocados. And then I have like eggs and then I have my coffee. But I'm trying to do like overnight oats and maybe like protein pancakes and regular oatmeal and maybe like a fruit parfait with some yogurt. Because again, it's just like the same thing every day. And it can be, I kind of like it, but it can be boring, right? So I'm trying to switch it up.
Even when you rattle all those off, there's so many different things you can do with avocado toast or with eggs or with,
That's
the
true.
overnight oats to spice them up and change them up. So yum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People can
absolutely.
get creative.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for being here. And I really want people to follow along on the journey. So I'm going to be sure and post all the ways to find you. And we're going to keep an eye on your launch here in the US. And I can't wait.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to your cookbook.
Thank you. We're excited about that too. So when you're ready for yours, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Did that. So how did that feel? Anything that I left out that you'd want to include?
No, that
Or
was great. That was awesome.
okay,
Yeah, it's really good.
good.
You probably have so many fun conversations with different
I
people.
do. I really
Yeah.
did love the one with Jeffrey Schlissel. He's in Florida, and
Yeah.
he's funny. He has a place called the Bacon Cartel, and he had it over in West Palm, or I don't know Florida very well. But he had to move to Tampa, and so he's wanting to open a brick and mortar place, but he's trying to do this side by side, almost a butcher shop, but with this whole vegan plant based element to it, like the two sides, so that it's a one stop shop for people who have, vegans in the family and meat lovers in the family. And it's really funny concept. But some of the stuff he was describing was just, just like I had to go there with the watermelon because it just sounded so amazing. And
Yeah.
he did something that was egg like out of soy and something else and some there was a salt that was a very smoky, almost gave it that sulfuric kind of a hint that you get with eggs sometimes. And he said that customer was just bound and determined that it was eggs
Wow.
and tuna.
Wow. I think like yeah, there's like especially I think now there's the innovation that's coming out. Like
Yeah.
it's very close. I think like it's gonna even further progress and you're gonna see so many more like plant-based proteins come out. Like I've seen eggs
Mm-hmm.
now. There's an egg company that just launched and they literally look like eggs. Like they have the white
Yeah.
and the yolk in the middle and like they the texture and everything. I don't know how they taste. I've never had
It's
them,
going to
but I
get
keep
confusing.
it is. It is. Yeah, for sure. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's a hoot. Okay. Well, I will let you go. I know you've got another meeting, but thanks again for being here. And I'll let you know when this is ready to post, probably a week or even two. I've been doing the blog posts as Q&As and then just posting the video. But I'm trying to do more like mini articles moving forward because it's more like what I used to do writing wise, and it feels more comfortable and more
Yeah.
creative, if you will,
Yeah.
than
I
just
like
doing the
that.
Q&A. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to do that.
Yeah, sounds good. Just let me know.
All right. I will. Thanks
Cool.
again, and have a
Yeah.
good afternoon.
Yeah, you too. So nice to meet you. We'll keep in touch.
All right, and I am in Austin if you get back here.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I'll let you know next time I'm back when
yeah,
there's
we
no
connected
storm.
just yes, yes, that.
That
Yeah,
was
we connected
horrible.
right around all of that, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
crap. She was just here, and I went, and crap, we had no power, no
Yeah.
nothing. It was
I was
awful. So
I was like, I'm never coming back. No, I will come back. It'll just
I
be
couldn't
better.
have
It'll be
come to
better.
see you if I'd wanted to.
I know, it was
Uh,
crazy. So yeah, I'll be back out that way for sure. And I'll let you know. Give you a holler.
okay, great.
Cool.
That'll
Okay,
be
thanks.
fun. All right.
Yeah.
Bye
Enjoy
bye.